Heard of the Cynocephalus?
No.
Is it a disease?
That sounded like sign of...
Cynocephalus.
Is that one word?
It is. I think it's Latin, maybe. But it means dog-headed man.
Okay.
Dog-headed man. And I stumbled upon this video the other day. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I did a lot of research yesterday.
Okay.
And it's basically, it starts 4,000 years ago is the earliest evidence of there's a race of hybrid humans that it is a man's body with a literal dog head.
Terrifying.
And so 4,000 years ago, or they found it in Libya, carved onto these boulders of these dog-headed men, or Cynocephalus.
Kind of like the pyramids, right? Like, you know those the ones that have the dog heads?
Yeah,
that's pull up a picture of right now.
Anubis.
So where is this at? Sorry?
Anubis?
Anubis, yeah.
Anubis.
So
1950s Germany?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so Anubis was an Egyptian god who had the head of a jackal, body of a man, and that was the god of death in the underworld. And it's all over Egypt, right? Anubis. But then in Libya, there's these carvings of these dog-headed men that were like carrying like clubs and like dragging a rhino and like just really, really weird stuff. But then it was first written about by a Greek philosopher in, I believe it was like 30 BC or something.
Okay.
So the Greeks have written about it. The Romans have written about it. Alexander the Great has written about the Cynocephalus. Marco Polo, Christopher Columbus, St. Augustine, and just all these like explorers and missionaries throughout history have all written about dog-headed men.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How have we never heard of this? This is different than the
It's like a werewolf,
the dog man, like, right? This is different than
Well, it could be the same thing.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but it was written.
I couldn't think of like, oh yeah.
But the earliest writings from the Greek philosopher, he talked about he went and was exploring India, and deep in the mountains there was these dog-headed men, and he said that they were brutal and but it was just freaky, and they would capture people and then eat them and like
Yeah.
But then as time goes on, like Alexander the Great talks about battling a tribe of dog-headed men.
Whoa.
And there's one account where one of these explorers, when they encountered these dog-headed men, they were more intelligent, but all of them said that they couldn't speak, and they would literally just bark.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah,
So funny.
but he said that they would talk to each other by barking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen Twilight?
Dude, that's honestly, like, imagine just being, and like, you're about to go to battle, you got your own people, and then you hear over the hill, you just see all these dog men come up, and then you just hear howling. Like, the whole thousands of them just howling. Dude, that would be so scary.
But this one tribe of dog men, they said that they were very intelligent and that they would farm, and that they worshipped a god that was a golden ox.
No, they're not that smart.
Which I thought was interesting because of like Egypt or the Israelites when they're in the
Golden
desert,
calf.
the golden calf.
Well, they were
stuff.
golden retrievers, that's why.
Yeah. But then there was this other really, really weird story where there's a saint, and his name is Saint Christopher, and you should look up Saint Christopher Dogman. And supposedly, the story goes that this was, I think, 100 years or so after Christ died. There's this dog man who was, they said that he was 10 feet tall, and he was witnessed to by a Christian, and he wanted to pursue Christ. And yeah, so look at that. See that?
Whoa.
Was St. Christopher also 10 feet tall?
That's what I'm saying. St. Christopher is the dog man. Yeah. And how it goes is that
I thought he was witnessing to the dog.
no, St. Christopher is the dog man, a Christian man.
Witness to St. Christopher.
Yeah.
Word.
And he's like, well, what should I do? And he's like, well, just start helping people. And one ways that you could help is there's this river over there that a lot of people die crossing. So just start carrying people across.
Oh.
And so he would carry people across this river. Then one day, this is just the story, all right? This is what they talk about. There's this little boy, and he was carrying the little boy on his shoulders, and all of a sudden, the little boy just started getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And St. Christopher said, like, hey, he's like, I can't lift you any longer. And then it was basically, it turns out that was Christ riding on his shoulders and saying, like, this is the weight of the world that I carry on myself, or something like that. And then St. Christopher said, basically prayed, like, God, I no longer want to be a dog man, and then was turned into a human.
Whoa.
That is the craziest story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's weird.
What is that? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. But then St. Augustine wrote about, he traveled and actually witnessed and presented the gospel to a tribe of dogmen. And he said that, what do you say about them? He said,
They were stinky.
he said, dog-headed men noted that they were morally dumb and even some demonic, but redeemable nonetheless.
Golly.
You guys have done a Gen Z Bible translation. What would that look like?
I don't know.
Dogman translation.
Um,
Morally dumb.
yeah.
Ouch.
Life is rough.
But
Choose
then
God.
there's a story of King Arthur. What?
I just did dog pun and she thought it was funny.
There's a story of King Arthur, and he claimed to have fought and beat a dog-headed men army in the mountains surrounding Edinburgh.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you a story about humanity.
oh, cool.
So
Dude.
these dogmen have been talked about in ancient China or Asia, like in Mongolia, India, South America, the Caribbean, North America, Europe, like everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's different
So
accounts
weird.
throughout history talking about these dogmen.
I mean, how do they come to an existence? Is that another perversion? Is that another just?
Something I
You
think.
could say, yeah, you could say like from the Book of Enoch, where it talks about the fallen angels, the Watchers, basically making hybrids of human
Animal. Beast.
Yeah.
beasts. Yeah, and that's where you get like folklore of mermaids and centaurs.
Oh, I
and-
didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. That's so scary. I'm just picturing all of this in my mind. I'm like, it had to have been so weird to look at a dog man.
yeah.
Like it couldn't have been. I don't know. It's like
But then,
throw a tennis ball.
so Christopher Columbus, he went to he landed in Haiti, and he said when he got there, there was these giants that had like one eye. Then there's these giant dogmen, and he said they were brutal and evil, and that they would capture you, and they would basically cut off their heads and drink their blood.
Ew.
And like just stories like this are all over the place.